It's Frugal Muse on the Friday night. Frugal Muse.
And without further ado, we're going to have Silas. And Silas is going to read us something from his book. Let's give him a big round of applause.
I'm trying to stay standing on this one because if I fall over, don't try to follow me with your eyes. Okay. This part is like if you've been following the book, it's if you haven't, there's this young man. His name is Adam Davis. His father was killed in Vietnam, and his mother. His mother and him always had kind of like a strained relationship, and so, and in which his mother never really wanted to tell him everything about his father. So, his mom died in a drive-by back in 1997. So, I'm trying right now to. Hopefully you will remember, fill in the blanks, but here we go again. He closes the photo album and places it in the center drawer where he found it. Excuse me. Feeling the rough pebbled vinyl covered cardboard cover, which is meant to resemble leather, in both hands, he slowly replaces the photo album, closes the drawer, and turns off the light. Then he stands up, walks out dejectedly, and pulls the door closed before he walks downstairs, as if the answer they had sought had not really come to him. Almost immediately, he is in front of the refrigerator. He opens it up, and with almost a mindless motion, prepares a sandwich of sliced turkey on hard rye bread. For one of the few times in the past, he truly felt hungry. As he spread the mayonnaise, he began to notice that he made a mistake and quickly wiped it off, letting the thick white blob roll back into the jar. He remembered that he liked mustard, and as he reached to get it in the refrigerator, only to find that he had none. He remained there, looking at the door shelf where he usually kept it, only to found that he could not stop looking away. After a few minutes, he stood up and looked around, wondering where he put the mustard. He knew he had not been to the store in about 2 days, yet it is not there. As he started to close the door, he snatched a can of generic cola and slid it across the table towards the still incomplete sandwich. He shrugged his shoulders, then placed the top piece of bread on, reconciling himself to mustardless turkey on rye. He opened the can of cola and took a long drink from the open top. Then, as if giving a sign of victory, let out a long, loud belch. Suddenly there was a loud ring from the phone mounted next to the refrigerator door, and quickly sprang to within arm's reach and picked up the receiver. "Hello?" he said quickly. "Mr. Adam Davis," said a voice in a somewhat scholarly voice. "Yes, it is." "This is Irving Johnstone. You called me earlier?" "I called you because you were my mother's lawyer." There was a brief pause, and then he continued. "Oh, yes, Marion Davis. So how are you, Adam?" he says in a tone of familiarity he had not heard before. "I'm fine. I just finished law school and passed the bar exam earlier today." "That's great. Congratulations. Do you have any job prospects lined up?" "Well, no, not really. I called to see if you were hiring any new lawyers." Well, I think we can take you on. Actually, I was wondering when you called me. I've been somewhat keeping up with your progress ever since you were in college. Are you still living in the townhouse over on North Helena Avenue? "Yes," he says with a more relaxed tone as he finds himself losing his fear. "Good. I helped your mother get that place after you were burned out back in, 1983, I think it was. I was hoping you would keep it up after she died." He pauses for a few seconds as if to fill the empty space. He begins again. "Well, Adam, when was the last time you had a decent steak dinner?" "Well, I'd say it was when I started law school. One of my classmates called it fattening me up for the kill." He laughs slightly and then quickly continues. "Well, that's true. that is so very true of this profession. Anyway, I want you to join me for dinner in Old Town. I have 2 more conferences lined up today, and that should be finished about 8:30. Is that all right? All right by me, Mr. Johnstone. I'll be there. Adam replied with increasing happiness. The place is called the 1898 Steakhouse. It's located near the corner of North Avenue and Wells. I've made reservations already, so if I'm not there, just introduce yourself to the maitre d'. He'll seat you. The sun was just setting in the west as its bright red-orange rays down on North Avenue. When Adam entered the door, the outside was finished like it would have been during the Columbian Exposition. Either side of the large plate glass windows. Inside the window, which is immense white curtains with mock gold stripes on the borders. The inside of the restaurant was immense. There were tables set in neat rows, but the larger booths were set against the back walls. The deep red carpet had intricate designs on it, but the white tablecloths on every table accented it. The 1898, as it was always called by its customers, was started in the same year by a retired trainman who had seen too many train robberies and who survived a shootout between Wyatt Earp and the Dalton gang. Since that time, it was a favorite eating establishment of politicians, movie stars, and even frequented by the famous Al Capone. Not a day goes by that someone famous, near famous, or even infamous has dinner here at the 1898 Steakhouse. Even after the old train man gave it to his son to run, and he lost control of it to his sons, who sold a controlling interest to a group of stockholders, who closed it up, only to be reopened by the great-grandson of the old train man himself. The place has never lost the charm, and it had during the Columbian Exposition. Even when it was closed up for a day, when a member of Dutch Schultz's gang was found dead while eating his T-bone steak, they reopened promptly at 12 o'clock. The owners laughed and said, "Well, at least he died happy with a good meal in his belly." As Adam walks through the front door, the doorman, dressed in a plain white ruffled shirt, light pants, and a black bow tie, immediately greets him. He was thin, with sandy brown hair and light brown eyes, and perfectly manicured fingernails. "Hello, sir. Welcome to the 1898 Steakhouse." "Thank you. I'm meeting Mr. Johnstone." "Just a minute. I'll see if he's here," the young man says as he walks towards the back. At that time, Adam notices a group of 4 people, 2 older white couples whose presence speaks of old money and influence. The 2 in front, near the red velvet robe, look at him as if he were a new kind of servant. The 2 closest to him try their best to step closer to the front, as if to block him from entering ahead of them. As the doorman approaches the group, he discreetly points to Adam, and then as he reaches for the velvet rope and disconnects it from the waist-high chrome-plated pole, he waves to Adam to come forward. Adam excuses himself and walks around to follow the doorman through the opening, then smiles as if he had just won a great victory. The quartet looks at him as if they were greatly offended, while the comment is heard in whispered tones about how bad the service has gotten, and they have been waiting longer than he has.
And I think that's a great place to stop.
Thank you.
Thank you, Silas.
Frugal Muse, open mic night. Frugal Muse, open mic night. Come on, let's go to the Frugal Muse, open mic night. Got nothing to lose, so come find your muse. Don't be scared, no one will judge you here at all, except that grumpy old guy reading Tolstoy at the back wall. Don't worry, he's like that with everyone. At Frugal Muse, open mic night. Everybody's talking about the Frugal Muse, open mic night.